All right. Hello, everyone. We are here for our FPL Under the Radar Double Game Week 37 preview. It's a very special video for us. Three of us, Wrangler, ZD, and me, we started this channel pre-Game Week 18 this season. This is our 21st video. And for the first time ever, we have a very, very special guest, one of our very good friends from FPL Twitter, Black Wolf, aka Dan, joining us today. So we are very, very excited, Dan, that you are here. How are you
Thank you.
feeling?
I'm really excited too. Thank you for inviting me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Makes
I
me
know
feel a
that,
little better about the game week we just had.
yeah, it was. A lot of people are saying like that they have never seen these crazy swings. Some people are on like
Yeah.
200 plus points. Some people are barely on 50, 60 points, right? So that big of a swing. So it's really that kind of game week.
If
Uh,
you've seen that meme of the little child in the swimming pool and the
mhm,
mom is holding her, it's like Kevin De Bruyne
yeah.
captainers, Kevin De Bruyne owners, and then me at the bottom of the sea doesn't even own
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Sometimes these things suck. But
Yeah.
anyways, we move on, right? So last two game weeks. Excited that this season is coming to an end. Very draining season, of course. So almost at the end. And I know ZD, you are joining us from the other half of the world, right? Other end of the world, from
Yeah,
8:30 in the morning.
it's,
How are you doing?
yeah, it's morning over here. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I mean, uh, still trying to swallow the crazy game
It
week
is.
we are having.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for making the time
yeah,
for us.
sure. I'm very
Frank,
excited to as Dan joined us. Thank you, Dan, for joining us.
Thank you.
and Wrangler, I know you just recovered from COVID or probably still recovering from COVID. So thanks again making the time for us. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, and actually even better now seeing Dan with us. I think this is our, I don't know, if like our FPL was kind of our dream, and we started, as you said, like in this season. Is it our 21st video or
Yeah.
20?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
counted last night. So it is our
yeah.
21st
So
video.
today is
Yeah.
actually,
Nice.
I mean, we don't have much of viewers probably, but it is our 21st video.
Mhm.
We try to release every week before the game week, so yeah, it's very exciting that we have our like one of our own Black Wolf with us, and it's very like very much excited and looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All righty. So let's dive into it. So, of course, we are going to take it casual. Of course, we have Dan with us today. We'll talk about Double Game Week 37. That's going to be our focus, but we'll also chit chat a little bit. We'll talk about the fixtures. We'll talk about the players and teams to target for the upcoming game week for non-free hitters and for free hitters. And we are going to talk about captaincy, and we'll end with our team selection for all the four of us. So that's basically the game plan for our video tonight. It's 8:30 where we are, where Wrangler and I am. I think it's 5:30 at your place, Ben.
Yep.
Correct?
5:30.
So yeah, so that's wonderful, right? We are in three different time zones, but we are all talking together.
Mhm.
We are like FPL nerds, right? Like the things that we do for FPL. So
Yeah.
all right, so let's get into it. So as I said, so at least first few minutes we are just going to chat with Dan a little bit, since this is the first time we have a guest, and this I believe Dan also your first video for
My first
anything
video,
FPL
yes.
related. Yeah,
Very first one.
yeah. So that's going to be very good. So all right, so let's get into it. So Dan, so just introduce yourself to our viewers. I know a lot of people already know you, but
Sure.
just take a
So
chance. Yeah.
my name is Dan, aka Black Wolf. I joined Twitter only in November now. I moved over from Reddit. I was a very active Reddit user for a long time, but Reddit got a little bit negative for me. So I moved over to Twitter for more interactions with people who love FPL. And it's been so great for me so far. There's been so many amazing people on Twitter, including you guys. I see Derek and I think that's Theorist in the chat.
Tourist is in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a really great group of people in FPL USA now. And yeah, so I'm originally from the UK. I moved here 11 years ago now for marriage,
Hmm.
and so I'm an Englishman living in the US.
Yeah, yeah. Do you still call it football or do you call it soccer?
I call it football. And if I catch anyone calling it soccer, I'm not very happy. So watch it.
Yeah, yeah. We have some of our other friends here. Nihal is here or was here.
Yeah.
Dan Roos Snyder is here. Derek is here. Theorist is here.
Yep.
Thanks, all of you, for joining. Any questions any of you have, please feel free to ask here. We'll try to answer. Dan, how did you get into FPL, or when did you start playing FPL?
I actually started playing about 10 years ago, but
Mm,
I was very, very casual. It was on a different account. I had a couple of nice finishes, but I was very casual. I wasn't really doing it for anything other than fun with my
mhm,
friends. And then when I moved to the US, I had a few years of not playing, and then I realized I missed it. So I started again on my new account 4 years ago now.
mhm.
So I've been playing on and off for 10 years, but actively for 4 years. And I'm not very good.
No, I
So,
mean, yeah, I always like your interaction whenever we're talking in the space. You have great knowledge of the game, and
thank you.
you are like our, not necessarily Wolves ITK, but you are our Wolves news source, right? Well, we
Yeah,
have been asking you, especially when Wolves were really doing good defensively, right?
yeah,
We're always asking like who's playing, who's not playing. So thanks for all of that throughout
you're
the
welcome.
season.
That's the problem. I feel like I have a lot of football knowledge. I feel like I
Yeah,
have very good FPL knowledge, and I give good advice, but I don't take it myself.
yeah, we'll all do better together next season,
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
One of
Like
my
I said,
very first interaction with Dan was like, I DM'd him and asking about like itinerary. That was, I mean,
Hmm.
like my first interaction with him, basically, like asking
yeah,
about wolves, because
Hmm.
I know that how good he is in terms and how knowledgeable he is. So yeah, thanks for all this support, Dan.
no, you're welcome. I'll do some kind of thread preseason for
Yeah,
Wolves about next season.
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
hoping we make a lot of
Please,
signings. We really need some
yeah,
signings.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Bruno is a good coach, right? Just he pretty much was doing with all the players that he got originally, right? But I'm pretty sure he has some other players in mind that he wants to get in,
yeah.
especially
I
in.
mean, I know at Benfica he did really well with the young players, bringing them through.
Hmm.
Forget the guy's name. I'm having a brain fart. Um, but anyway, he's really good with bringing young players through the ranks.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping he does that with some of our players.
Hmm.
We have players like Morgan Gibbs White, who's on loan at Sheffield United. He's just scoring for fun in the Championship. I'd like to
Hmm.
see players like him brought back. And
Hmm.
we really need a good centre back, a good centre midfielder, a good striker. Because unfortunately, I think Raul Jimenez
Hmm.
isn't going to cut it anymore.
Hmm.
He hasn't been the same since his injury.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
nice. Yeah. So as a FPL manager, I know that you watch a lot of games. You're more of a eye test guy, right? But are you now more of a eye test and stat, kind of a mix of both? And do you
Sure.
plan to change how you play from next season?
I mean, if I was forced to pick one of the two, it would be eye test.
Mm-hmm.
But this season, definitely, I use both. I'm
Mm-hmm.
eye test first because I'm a football fan first. I watch
Mm-hmm.
pretty much every single game.
Yep.
I wake up at 4:30 a.m. to watch the first game, and I don't stop watching until 12 p.m. in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in joining Twitter, I've seen a lot more value in stats and all of that stuff now. So I'm definitely going to use that next season more often. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys create amazing content. I'm amazed every time you tout your graphs and charts. And
Yeah,
so,
even
yeah,
yeah, I think once we were talking about it at Wrangler, and we didn't even have access to all this data until like beginning of this season, right?
yeah,
First time I even knew that this data exists is when I uh, came across Let's Talk APL's channel last year, and it was kind of accidental. I just got into YouTube. I was searching for APL content, and his channel was right in the top. Right,
yeah, yeah.
that guy does something with the algorithm, so he's always on the top. So yeah, I mean that was the first time that I even knew that this data exists, right? So it definitely fascinates me, but also both of us, or actually all three of us, are first of all football lovers, right? That's why
Yeah.
we started playing the game. But yeah, I mean it's nice to kind of know both sides of it as well. I
Hmm.
guess if you miss a game, at least hear from someone, hey, how that guy look like, right? Does he look good? And also you go and check the stat. Does it kind of
Exactly.
align, right? Yeah,
I
that's
usually use stats to back up my own decisions, to back up what I see in eye test.
yeah, yeah,
It's like
absolutely
if I am debating between two options, then I will go to stats to help me
correct.
choose.
Yep.
Uh, That's
All
what I
right.
do next season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. ZD, I'll let you ask the next question.
Yeah, so then we all know about your FPL USA initiative. That's a great initiative. So
Thank
how
you.
you started and like why you decided to do that?
Sure. Well, I've said this a few times on Twitter now that around this time of the day, FPL Twitter goes very quiet. Everyone in the UK and Europe goes to bed, and it gets very quiet around Twitter. And I really miss the interaction I have with people from the UK. All of my friends are football fans, and they're all asleep at this time. So I think it was Theorist and the Cheeky Ness, I think it was, who I talked with, and FPL Planner Australia
Hmm.
about creating a list to bring together all of the managers in the USA. And I came to realize that there was hundreds and hundreds of FPL managers in the USA, some very, very good ones as well. Because I think the stereotype is that Americans don't know what they're talking about when it comes to football, and it's very, very wrong. Um,
Yeah,
so now we have a large group of USA managers, and we have a space, as you know, because you guys join every week. And we have group chats, and we have a league. And next season, I have some more plans for the league, and soon we're going to be having FPL meets as well. And today, as you saw, I was announced as the chairman of FPL Meets USA, which is really cool. So
congratulations for that. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I've had some really great conversations with Nima, and we
Hmm.
talked on the phone for an hour, and he missed his work meeting because of it, which was really cool.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think we've made a lot of friends on this platform, and I think it'd be really cool if we can meet some people in person as well.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's a little more difficult being in the US because I can't just create a meetup for everyone in the US. It's like a 6 hour flight or something to get to New York. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a real team effort, and will require people to take the lead in each state to organize with my help. Um, so yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah, it's a great initiative. Thanks. I
Thank you.
mean, now we are like as a community, we always discuss about FPL. We are like everyone is engaged actually because of
Yeah,
the FPL USA. Thank you so
yeah.
much for doing it.
You're welcome. And I see Theorist has said the league is tough. He's not kidding. I started the league in game week 24,
yeah.
and I think I'm right near the bottom. So
You were already out of chips by then, right? Pretty much.
I was already out of chips, and I'm going to blame that for my terrible rank in
Yeah,
the FPL USA league. But next year I'm winning. You heard it here
absolutely.
first. You heard it here first.
Yeah, we are with you.
Yeah.
Wrangler, you want to ask something?
No, I think, I mean, what I was going to ask, like some of the activities and future activities, Dan already covered it. And by the way, congrats, Dan, for being the US chair of the FPL meet. That's huge.
Okay. Sounds
And I would
very
like to just
official.
mention again, right? I mean, yeah, and also like I mean, this season has been very like exhaustive. It's very like ups and downs, right? A lot of double game weeks, postponements, COVID. But I was talking to Derek, and we were talking like FPL USA has been the highlights for a lot of our USA based managers. And thank you so much for all of this. Really, we really
Okay.
appreciate it a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it's been my highlight too. As I
Mhm.
said, it's been a pretty poor season for me. My rank is not very good compared to what I expected. So having this initiative and meeting all these new people has really made up for that. So I really don't care about my rank at this point. I'll do better next season.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm for sure always on that FPL USA group chat or in our own chat. Right? I'm always first thing anyone scores a goal, anyone assists or whatever. That's the first place I'm going to go. Right. So, yeah, it's definitely fun to interact with people, as you said, like this being in the same time zone or
Yeah,
similar time zone is a big thing, right? because I cannot talk to my friends in Bangladesh when the games are happening most of the time. It's a complete different time zone for them. So yeah, absolutely thankful for that, grateful for that you took that initiative. I'm pretty sure we are going to grow bigger
I think so.
next season. Yeah.
It was really nice to see. I didn't realize we had people like Ragaboli of Live FPL
Oh
Net.
yeah.
He's from the US. We have Sertaup, who is in the US.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Um,
Brilliant minds. Yeah.
Fraser in the US. Some really top FPL accounts are based in the US. So we do know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. All righty. So let's get into our game week chat, the one that's upcoming. So we are still in the middle of game week 36, by the way. It's not done yet. It's kind of seems like going forever. So there is still one big game left tomorrow, the North London Derby between Arsenal and Tottenham. It's big from FPL perspective. It's bigger from PL perspective because this is essentially going to decide who gets the fourth place. I mean, if Arsenal wins, it's pretty much done and dusted. If Tottenham wins, it's an open-ended question, and it will go all the way to game week 38, right? So most likely. So it's going to be a great game. But today was some of the double game week games, and as we were saying, some big swings today. But we are all past that, so I'm not going to talk about that. Game week 37 is also a double game week, smaller double game week, and the doubles are for kind of the smaller teams. A lot of those teams are actually fighting for relegation, likes of Everton and Burnley and so on, and some other kind of mid-table teams like Leicester, Crystal Palace, and Aston Villa. Uh, What's interesting is this time the game week 37 deadline is on Sunday because Saturday is the FA Cup final between Liverpool and Chelsea. So of course you don't necessarily have to make any moves unless you are on a free hit until Saturday. See what happens in that game because Liverpool rotation is becoming quite a headache for a lot of us as well. Salah got benched this week. Robertson got benched. Trent got benched the week before. So yeah, Liverpool guessing who is going to play for Liverpool is not that easy anymore either. Diaz is there, Jota is there, Mane, Salah, Firmino is also I think back in training. So it's not necessarily very easy to predict who plays, but at least I think we'll get some idea whether you are on free hit or not on a free hit from that FA Cup final. At least we can at least try to guess who is going to play in game 37 for Leicester. So wait until that. Another important thing is that for a lot of the teams, other than Chelsea, actually all the other teams that double in 37, the gap between their second game in game week 37 and the 38 game week 38 game is only 2 days of rest. So for non-free hitters especially, that could be an headache if you're getting in a player who is not maybe as nailed. So definitely for non-free hitters, you want to get players in who are absolutely playing like 90 minutes each game or at least nailed to start every game. So don't take too many punts, especially for non-free hitters. For free hitters, of course, you can afford to maybe a little more punty, but at the same time, free hitters itself is a differential, right? So you don't necessarily need to be like really, really punty either. But yeah, that's basically where the fixtures are right now. We'll talk about the fixtures in a little more details in our upcoming slides, like which are the fixtures that we want to target this game week. Anything that you guys want to add? Wrangler, CD, or Black Dan here?
No, I think it's well put. Unless anyone has any question, we can move on, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We are open for questions. Anytime you have anything. Patrick is here as well. Thanks, Patrick, for joining. So yeah, we have a pretty full house.
Yeah, we can talk more about the fixtures. I think, as you were saying, the likes of Everton and Aston Villa, I think a lot of people on a free hit are going to be bringing those guys in. And people on a non-free hit might want to bring some in too. But you also have to be aware of how difficult their 38 fixture is.
Yep.
And I guess we'll talk about that later.
No, yeah, that's a good point too. Game of 38, most of the big teams have very good fixtures.
Yeah.
I think if we can go back here quickly. So, for example, Everton has Arsenal, right, in the last game week. And then who does Aston Villa have?
Yeah,
Aston
They
Villa
have
has Man
Man,
City.
that's it.
Man City away. So
Aston
yeah,
Villa has Man City. So it's not a easy decision for, especially for the non-free hitters. Yes, you are getting two games in 37, but it's not straightforward for 38. So definitely a good point. Yep. All right. So let's move on. Nihal is asking, did Cash double up or Watkins thing? So we'll come to that later, Nihal. We'll talk about it when we talk about the players. Let's talk about the fixtures a little more. And as we say, it's of course five teams doubling: Everton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Burnley, and Leicester City. Uh, Most of the people, whether you are on free hit or not on a free hit, are going to target the Everton guys and the Aston Villa guys because of their fixtures and how they are, both of them being home fixtures. Crystal Palace is okay, but they have not been a great team away, and we'll talk about it when Wrangler talks about the matchup. So that's not a lot of people are looking at the Crystal Palace assets, of course. Leicester's double is decent. Of course, their second game is tough with Chelsea. The first game is very good, Watford away. Uh, but the problem again is, do we know how Leicester is going to rotate, right? Good thing is that the game is like roughly 3-4 hours from the deadline. So generally speaking, we do get early team news for Leicester from Sam Martin on FPL Twitter. So I'm looking out for that definitely. Even though I'm on a free hit, I'm very much interested to get someone like a Vardy in. So I'll look out for the late team news. From a effective XG standpoint, of course, as we expect, some of the doubling teams are on top of the chart. Everton and Aston Villa and Leicester, although one of their fixtures is tough, but their Watford matchup is really, really good. Uh, and the big teams, although they are not doubling as always, they are also expected to do pretty well. Chelsea is playing Leicester at home, very good fixture. Liverpool is playing Southampton, who cannot defend at this point, very good game. Arsenal is against Newcastle away, probably not the easiest game, but again, Arsenal has been pretty good attackingly recently. And Man City, we all know how good they are, right? So that's basically what we're going to talk about in the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide, or do you want to touch up anything, Wrangler, here in this particularly?
Um, I was gonna ask few questions in terms of
Sure.
players. For example, as Dan mentioned, right, that 38 fixture for doublers like Aston Villa or Everton are not really great, while Crystal Palace, I mean, they are having both away games. They are not very impressive in the away, but their last game is versus Manchester United, which is considered right now a good game, by the way,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So, now if you want to bring, say, Zaha or Coutinho, like, say, if you're non-free hitter, right? You want to kind of match up with the free hitters, right? So in that case, there are a couple of options like Saka or Kulusevski. Those are in that price budget, like price bracket, right?
Mhm.
So in that case, what do you do? Do you remove Saka or Kulusevski for those doublers, or what do you think? Like
You want to take
Dan
that,
or
Dan?
yeah, that's the problem. That's what I've been thinking about as a non-free hitter, because you have the likes of Kulisevsky, as you said, and Saka, who you might be willing to take out this week to bring in the likes of, I don't know, Gordon or someone on Everton, someone or Coutinho, or if you want to take
Zaha?
it exactly. But the issue is you're going to want people like Saka and Kulisevsky in your team in 38 because they have Norwich and they have Everton.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of issue I'm facing as a non-free hitter. It's unfortunate that the players that double have a bad fixture in 38 and the players that don't have a good fixture in 38. So you really have to find a good balance, I feel. If you're free hitting, I would go for it.
Yeah, I personally think that actually you roll the dice with because Kulusevski actually has a good fixture, by the way. It's a Burnley, and
Yep.
he looks very good. I don't think he's gonna be rotated because
No chance. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And he has also Norwich fixture, and if they win tomorrow, right, then it's gonna be a very close game or like close fourth place race, right? So
Mhm.
I think Burnley and Norwich game will be very good, right? So I think you roll the dice with Saka or Kulusevski because again tomorrow's game is going to be very vital, very crucial. If somehow Tottenham wins, it's going to be like they will take this very seriously for next two games. So I would probably roll the dice instead of bringing other players. I mean, that's actually my thought. I don't know.
Yeah, I think where you can probably as a non-filter go to is the forwards, Richarlison or like a Watkins or
Mhm.
Ings. That's probably easier to go to because of course there are not too many forwards. If you have the money in the bank to go from a Pookie or a Dennis or whatever, right? A lot of people are sitting with like 6.5 million or 7 million forwards. So that's probably an easier move to make
I
rather
mean,
than moving out your Kulusevski or Saka for sure.
So you have the same issue with defenders as well. A lot of people are big at the back right now. You might want to take out, if you have double City, for example, it might be worth taking one out if they're
Mm.
playing West Ham away and having someone like Matty Cash in there for his 2 games.
Yeah,
And
that
then you're going to be missing out that City player playing at home to Aston Villa, and you're going to be left with Matty Cash against away
Man
to Man
City.
City.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's difficult.
yeah,
yeah.
and also Chelsea, there are several Chelsea double ups as well, right? Reece James or Alonso, and after the FA Cup final, you never know what is the team, right? In the in 37, right? In the midweek, right? So in
Mhm.
that case, do you remove them and get like Matty Cash or Michaelenko? That will be the question basically
Yeah.
for the non-free eaters. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean, if you
very
get a
difficult.
defender in, like a cheap defender in, and you can easily bench him in 38, because a lot of people have probably five defenders in, maybe, just maybe. But yeah, it's a tough choice. It's a very tough choice. The
Yeah.
only place that I see people non-creators going to are the forwards.
I
Easily,
don't
easy
I
move.
don't really want to have too
Yeah,
many. I don't want to have more than 4 players in 37 that I would want to bench in 38 because I can remove
absolutely.
one of them on a transfer and then bench the other 3.
Yeah,
But right
when
now,
it's
as
the
it
heat.
stands, I'm actually contemplating bringing in 5,
Hmm.
but then I'd have to take a -4 in 38. It seems
Yeah,
pointless. I don't know. Patrick
true.
is asking a question. I don't know if you want to answer that
Yeah,
now. Or...
Patrick has a couple of questions. So, which single game week fixtures are you targeting beyond Spurs? Wrangler, you want to take that?
What's the question? Sorry.
Which single game week fixtures are you targeting beyond Spurs this game week?
It's definitely Liverpool, because as we said, right, and in the next slide we're going to see also the matchups. Southampton probably is at the beach.
Hmm.
I had one tweet yesterday, like before game week 30, their XG considered was only 1.4 or something like that. From 30 to 36, it's now 2 plus. It's 2.2 or 2.3. They have been that bad. So I think Liverpool, I would definitely um, target them. They're the two team I'm thinking now after today's game, Man City, KDB and versus Kane would be a very burning question type thing. But I think Spurs and Liverpool are the two teams that I'm going to target.
Yeah, Chelsea also has a good fixture, but the problem is the rotation, right? It's too very difficult to nail the attackers, especially.
Yeah,
Like, do you go for a Lukaku? If you are adventurous, maybe especially if he does not play in the FA Cup final. Maybe if someone does want to go there, especially on a free hit, maybe, just maybe. But yeah,
yeah.
it's tough given that how much they have been rotating recently. So very tough. So I
And then
agree, definitely Spurs and Liverpool. Go ahead, Dan.
But
Okay, I
then
don't.
Patrick has also said if Arsenal win tomorrow, do you avoid Spurs on the free hit?
Yeah, that's a good
I mean,
question too.
it's
I
also a good
would.
question.
I'd like to take that question. I personally think that I'm gonna still take Spurs player, because I think Spurs is having home game, right, against Burnley,
Yep.
and that's their last home game, by the way. Okay, so because I think they're playing Norwich away, so I think in the last game, usually you want to make your fans happy, right? And you want to
Mhm.
give a very good performance. So I believe it's gonna be a good game again. I think they're gonna have at least Son or Kane, and those are the two
Yeah.
players you target, right? So I'm gonna go with them. I think
Yeah,
that's my
they barely rotate anyways, right? Conte doesn't rotate too much, and he doesn't have all the players to rotate either. So yeah, I think one thing that it probably would let me or think is I would definitely have Son either way, whatever the result tomorrow is. It would probably persuade me to not have Kane, maybe look somewhere else. Again, it's not about whether they play or not, or whether they will have the motivation to really do good. As you said, I mean, of course, it's the last home game of the season. They will try to do good, but I would probably at least look elsewhere, maybe for the Kane place. But
I
Son
mean,
definitely, like no matter what, Son is in my team for 37.
I mean, Derek makes a good point that Son is going for that golden boot, so
Absolutely,
he's gonna really
he's going to go for it. Yeah.
fire a lot of goals these next two games. And I don't own him, so that's not going to be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And to answer Patrick's question, because he's above me in the FPL USA League, I think he should bring in Bruno Fernandes this week.
Do that,
He
Patrick.
has a very good fixture.
Yeah, and you are a Manu
That's good.
supporter, man. You have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
Or
I think Tottenham and Liverpool and possibly Man City.
yeah, yeah. So Patrick agrees. So he's bringing in and benching Bruno.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on from this. Um, we'll take questions as they come along. Wrangler, you want to take this and to talk about the
Yeah,
matchups?
we actually kind of already covered a lot of them in our previous discussion. Is like kind of reiterate here the matchups, right? So here in this plot we are showing each of the teams XG per 90, and the stats is basically this year's stat from game of 21 to 36, and along y-axis is the opponent's XG conceded. Okay, and here as you can see there are four quadrants, right? The top right quadrants is basically the best case scenario where the team's attack is good and they are also playing against a team which teams like defense is bad, right? So basically if you see like Liverpool versus Southampton, Tottenham versus Burnley, Chelsea versus Leicester, all are in the top right quadrant, right? And that's basically single game weakers, but they have a good matchup. While in the second quadrant, which is basically top left, here is the offense in this game week kind of bad or probably decent, I would say, like Aston Villa or uh, you know um, uh, like Brighton or Brentford, right? While they are also playing against a bad defense, so although their attack is like decent or bad, but since the defense of the opponent are bad, they become very interesting, right, to pick. And that's where the double game weekers most of the are falling, like Aston Villa or Crystal Palace or Everton, right?
Hmm.
So that's where actually this game week become one of the popular game week for free hit as well, right? Because there are several game weeks where the free hit was an option, and 37 becomes something like that because, as we mentioned before, that teams like Aston Villa or Everton or even Leicester is playing who I don't know at the end.
Let's just play Watford and Chelsea.
Watford and Chelsea.
Yeah, but I mean 38. They're not having. I don't know.
Southampton at home and
Oh, that's a good fixture too. But
yeah.
uh, Everton and I think Aston Villa, right? That their team or their opponent in 38 is not the best, right? So what you want to do, you get them in this week in free hit, and then you get rid of them, right? So that's where 37 became a very good fixture in terms of free hit if you think in that way. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's why in 37 free hit there will be a very good blend between single game week and double game week
Hmm.
because of this very good fixture of the big teams. So that's just we want to cover here. The third quadrant is kind of a red zone. You kind of avoid because the offense is not the best and the opponent defense is uh, good too. Now Man City is kind of interesting here because Man City is playing against West Ham, and West Ham actually in home, and they are really good in home. Although in this data it's all together home and away, but if you just filter just the home stats, actually Man City and West Ham both fall into the fourth quadrant where the teams have good offense, but their opponent actually have good defense as well. Okay, so it's not going to be very easy for Man City. And West Ham's offense is good too. So who knows? Like Man City might concede, right? So
Yeah, I think I was seeing in a
that's where
stat
the
that they
dilemma.
have West Ham has scored in each of their home games this season. They haven't missed one game without scoring at home, so they always score.
Right. So that's why, yeah, team like players like Cancelo or even Laporte in the free hit might not be very popular. Still, they will be there because there are a lot of other factors as well, right? Like, your risk appetite,
Yeah.
as we say. But yeah, that's what we want to cover. I don't know whether you guys have any other questions or the viewers, but I think it's gonna be
No, I
very
think
fun game.
Nehal brought up a good thing. Congratulations, Wrangler, that your
Yeah,
chart was featured in the Burning Question series in episode Scout that Pras and Sonaldo does. So congrats for that.
yeah,
I think this
congrats.
is the second time you were featured on their show as well. So definitely good job on that.
This is a really good chat. This is really helpful, and I think you
Absolutely.
should continue doing these
Yeah.
next season for
Make
sure.
it your trend.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks. Yeah, we have been actually having this type of like plot in our all of these videos, by the way. And shout out to Kante. He actually came up with this 4 box, and depending on our time or availability, sometimes he does it, sometimes I do it, or ZD do it. But yeah, I mean, this is a good visualization. We thought so.
Mhm.
It's really good. You should definitely share these every week on Twitter.
Nehal also makes a good point that Antonio historically does well against City counter attack more strategy. So yeah, I mean, definitely you don't want to double up on City defense for sure this week. This is the week that you don't want to double up on City defense. If you are not on a free hit, you probably just keep them, play them. Um, but yeah, if on free hit, I don't think they're going to be too popular. ZD, you want to add anything on this?
Yeah, also I think if Laporte is injured, then they don't have any CV, right? So
He did
in that
finish the
case,
match
probably
though, right? Or did he? Or was he
no,
hooked?
he
All
was
right.
subbed off
He was
in
subbed.
60.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't see the finishing of the match. Okay.
Is
Yeah.
there
So
any,
I
is
mean,
there any news on that since it happened?
I
Um,
No.
haven't seen anything. Yeah.
something
But
to
yeah, I mean,
definitely look for. Something to definitely look for the
yeah,
Laporte owners, especially.
they barely have anything left, right? The Diaz is gone. Walker is gone. Stones is gone. Laporte is gone also. Yeah.
Nathan
AK.
Ake.
Yeah,
AK is
yeah,
yeah. So they're down to bare bones now. So yeah.
yeah. I think Fernandinho today started with Laporte, so probably you don't need to. Of course, if anyone has, it could be hold, but not like
Yeah.
uh, they are not mandatory in the free hit, I guess.
Not a buy and not a transfer in for a free hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So next we talk about the attackers that we want to target in 37, and this applies for free hitters and non-free hitters, both. Uh, so basically, of course, for double game weekers, and as we are talking about in the previous part, is that not too many doubling teams have good attacking stats anyways, right? But Aston Villa has looked good recently. Overall, has looked good, especially under Gerrard. They look pretty decent attackingly. Uh, and then the boys that we would, most of the people would want to go for, if it was like 2 weeks ago, everyone would be going for a Coutinho, right? And people still may, like say, if some like Dan, I know he bought Coutinho in game of 35, was it? Right?
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, so I mean, he still is a hold. And one thing is that if, especially if Watkins is injured, I think that secures Coutinho's minutes for both the games in 37 a little more.
I think
But
it
I
also
think
makes Danny Ings a really nice differential.
Danny Ings looked really really sharp
Yeah,
against Liverpool. No, was it Liverpool game yesterday or the day
Yeah.
before?
yeah.
Well,
He
yeah,
should have got a hat trick. To be honest,
yeah, he should have.
he
Yeah,
really should have.
yeah, he was very lively, looked good. I really like Ings. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. If especially if Watkins is injured, I would definitely go to Ings. One thing is that, of course, they have Traore back. I think they have Bailey back as well. So there are a lot of people fighting for those three front places, right? And if
Mm.
Watkins is also okay, not injured, uh, Watkins is the more safe option. Looks like even if they have one man front, Watkins is that guy. If they have two man front, they also have Watkins in there alongside Ings. So Watkins is the safe option. Ings is the more uh, adventurous option, I would say. Buendia
Explosive.
is, yeah, explosive. And Buendia is also very good, looked good in the game of 35 game, especially. But again, I don't think anyone wants to go there given the rotation risk. Same thing with Coutinho also. If you don't have him, definitely give it a second thought, especially if Watkins is injured. If Watkins is okay, if Watkins is injured, you can go there. But if Watkins is okay, I don't think I would buy a Coutinho for 37. Uh, Richarlison is going to be very, very popular. He was already very popular for 36, of course, right? They also doubled in 36. He only got an assist, but both their 37 games are at home. So I think he is still very attractive. And I think he'll do pretty well in game of 37. That their stats are better at home throughout the season, especially under Lampard. Their stats are so much better at home in comparison to away. Another guy that we all are talking about is, of course, Zaha. He's on penalties. He looks good. Vieira spoke about him playing up front as well. He's nailed, right? He plays 90 minutes every game. So uh, if you are on a free hit, I think there is no way you don't get Zaha. He is playing against Aston Villa and Everton. Most of the free hitters will have their defenders in, but you just kind of hedge the bets a little bit there, right? So you just get Zaha in. One thing that's interesting, of course, is on the cheap midfielder side, Gordon versus Gray, right? Both Everton midfielders. My question to you guys: who do you go for, given the chance on a free hit or no money constraints? Would you rather go for a Gray or a Gordon?
I think Gordon appears to be the more nailed player, right? I think Gray is more of a rotation risk. Is that? Do you share
True,
those thoughts?
to some
I'm
extent,
not sure
yes.
that's true, but I think I
Yeah,
heard
I
that on a
think.
space earlier.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think
Um,
if DCL is back, if DCL is playing or he starts, I think Gray is the one more likely to drop off. Yeah, so you are correct. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, Gordon has looked dangerous whenever he's played, but his returns haven't been there lately. But I think if I had to pick between those two, I'd go for Gordon. It gives you more funds elsewhere.
true.
Not that you need funds on a free hit, because I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
you can get a really good team under 100
yeah,
million this week. But I'd go for
Yeah.
Gordon.
anything else, Wrangler or ZD, that you guys want to add?
Yeah, so I would also go with the Gordon just because of his nailness. But one thing I would like to mention here, Psycho FPL, definitely give him a follow. He had a good series of thread of the double game weekers like Everton and Aston Villa. And there actually he highlighted a good point that Everton is going to play against Brentford and is Crystal Palace, right?
Yeah,
And both
Palace.
of their, what is that? Sorry.
No, ZD said yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So the thing is, like, both of their left flank is vulnerable, which is good for Gray, Damari Gray. Okay, and that's where actually Gray becomes more interesting if you think about him. But again, nailness becomes an issue. But if you just read the thread, he actually provides the stats where those two teams were conceding goals from the right hand side, which becomes
Yeah.
a good matchup for Damari Gray. By the way, just
Yeah,
wanted to
Gray is
highlight
on a
that.
lot of set pieces as well. A lot of set pieces, a lot of their corners and free kicks and etc. APL Prince was also making that point. He seems to be kind of the set piece guy now in the team. So yeah, but as Dan mentioned, he's just a little more minute risk. But again, if you are adventurous, you can probably afford to go there, even if he gets one game and maybe 30 minutes in the other, 120 minutes, probably not that bad in comparison to a Gordon. But yeah, so I think someone was making a point about Mount getting Zaha. Dan, you asked, I can get Zaha in for Mount, but not sure if I want to get rid of Mount now. I can take that. I don't think I would get rid of Mount. Very good fixture in 37 against Leicester, and very good fixture in 38 against Watford, correct? So yeah, I would definitely not get rid of Mount for Zaha. Both those fixtures look very good for Mount, and I think he will play both games as well. I don't see why Tuchel would drop him or rotate him. So yeah, any other questions that you guys see here?
I
I
think we can
think
move on.
Derek said, "Do you prefer Richarlison or Ings?" I would pick Richarlison, 100%.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like nailness actually is it's a very important thing here because I think most of our bench will be thin. I think so nailness will be a very crucial here, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah, and another point is what means fighting for the relation better, right? So, I mean, That is also extreme incentive you want to take with the Richardson.
Yeah, they have all to play for 100%, right?
Yeah.
So
And 2 home games as well. So
yeah, looks right.
absolutely
Looks very
ideal.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, so let's talk about the defenders quickly. This should not be that tough. I think most of the people, again, whether you are on a free hit or not on a free hit, most of the people are probably going to go for the Aston Villa boys, Cash and Dinia to be more specific. Uh, Crystal Palace is very good defensively as a team. Their numbers over the season have been very, very good. But both their games are away this week. They also haven't been the best team throughout the season in their away games. I don't know if I would go there, especially on a free hit, because you have other more explosive options in defense that you can go to. And I think most people are going to play either 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, especially if you're on a free hit. You just don't have the space for a Crystal Palace defender, I feel like. So, but if you absolutely want to go there, Anderson is not the worst shout. Uh, as for Everton, of course, Mikolenko looks good, has looked good. Dan actually shouted him out in our pre-game week 37, pre-game week 36 space, and he scored a goal, right? And he looks kind of dashing forward. So again, if you want to go there, I am thinking of him. It's basically between whether I want to double up with Aston Villa defense versus whether I want to go for one Aston Villa and one Everton defense. Again, just kind of hedging the bets a little bit. But other than that, not a lot of options, honestly, right? I think it's going to be a very, very template defense with double Aston Villa and potentially one of the Liverpool defenders, Trent. And maybe some people may go as far as Liverpool double up Trent and Robertson, right? Because they are elite, right? So even if they have just one game against Southampton, I think that some people may want to go there. Anything that you guys want to add for the defenders?
I
Any
think a lot
any?
of people are also going to keep Cancelo in their team on a free hit. I'm
Yeah,
not sure everyone's going to be brave enough to not go no City.
I know, very high yo, right? So I
Yeah.
think he's still like 90% ownership or something like that. So it's a risky move if you want to move out Cancelo. Uh, Maria,
Hmm.
anything you want to add, Wrangler or ZD?
Yeah, so I mean, one of my draft actually had Cancelo. I considered two premium defense because I thought to have uh, either one of these defenders from Aston Villa, and I thought to Coutinho and Watkins or Ings. So like triple up Villa, but two attackers. So in that case, I
Mhm.
will go with like two premium defenders, and that's where I might go at the end, because as you said, like Cancelo is highly owned, and he looked actually pretty good in last two games, by the way. So if they go in that way, so it's gonna be very risky to go without him. So yeah,
Yeah,
good shot.
And
absolutely.
if you're going for Liverpool double up on a free hit rather than a triple up, I think having Robertson and Simicast is a good option because
Yeah,
then you're
Absolutely,
covered with the Liverpool left back.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
just want to bring
That's
that
what I
up.
did, by the way. Like I mean, made sure that like, at least one of them starts. So
mhm,
Exactly,
Robertson, because that gives me some money as well. Okay,
exactly.
so that's how I mean, I'm planning
I
at
mean,
least.
yeah, you lose a Liverpool spot, but I don't think you would go triple Liverpool on a free hit. I think you
yeah,
have to take your chance.
yeah. Yeah, so there are some good points. Of course, Nehal made a good point that Gehi is out, Keita is out. So Crystal Palace defense is not necessarily in the best shape. So that's another reason for not to go there. Uh, Patrick is mentioning, of course, Cancelo is the toughest decision on free hit, whether to keep him or not. Derek is saying that Dinia has been such a troll for a lot of us, right, in this season, but we are all going to go there again. We never learn. So,
No,
but yeah, that's
one thing
what we.
to highlight here, by the way. Sorry to cut you off. Lucardin's number actually was good. I mean, I actually had one stats. If you can check in my profile, Lucardin's successful number, like number of successful crosses and final third passes, has been just after Trent. By the way, his numbers were pretty good. It's just like, yeah, he was a troll because he got injured or something like that, or his goals were not converted. Even last game as well, right? He didn't get the assist, by the way, but he was supposed to get the assist,
Hmm.
Mhm.
right? So he was unlucky, but his number was good. Just wanted to mention that. Yeah, he has been a
Yeah,
fraud. His
absolutely.
number was there. So,
He's kind
Yeah,
of like
well,
It's kind of like Reece James. He'll get you the 1.0 point and then a random 21 points in a double
yeah,
game week.
yeah. I think for Aston Villa, Cash looks like more the guy who would score a goal. Dinia is more of a guy who would get an assist, right? So it's not the worst double up, given their fixtures in 37. I don't see any reason why you would not go there with the Dinia and Cash. Um,
Let's move on, Kante. I guess because we are only 10 minutes or like 50 minutes already. So
yeah,
let's see.
that's fine. Yeah.
I'm in no rush
Okay.
if you guys aren't.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about the free hit next. So, Wrangler, you want to talk about this, the top
Yeah, so here
highly owned
first we
players?
want to show like just top 10K highly owned players, and I believe that if these players are highly owned in top 10K, that means it can be actually 100K or 200K or basically all the engaged managers, basically own these players. So here, if you see like big at the back, and then Salah, Son, Mount, Saka, and Ketia, he has a good shout, right? In last game
Mhm.
week. And then we had Richarlison here and also Schmeichel. So there are two players who have double game weeks, right? So as per the FPL review, this team actually secured like around 74 points, which is actually still good. And as I mentioned to you, that if you do few transfer, right, like we're gonna see Dan's team, and especially those who are not free hitting, they already players like who are doubling in 37 before, like either Villa, like Coutinho or Watkins or Richarlison, right? So they might have already 2 to 3 players, and they can do 1 or 2 transfer and get, I think, 10 points boost from here, like around 85 or so, right? Now, if
Mhm.
you go to the next slide, so basically that's where the free hit 37 draft come, and there it's kind of one of the draft, but like definitely some players can go here and there, but I think 8 to 9 players will be very similar. I think
Yeah,
in
this
the
is the template draft, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, and as you can see, right? I mean, it's expected points from FPL is around 92 or 93, something like that. Not too much of gain, I would say. Like probably 10 points gain from the non-predators. It might backfire too, who knows? But again, I mean, I think I just wanted to make sure, like, want to convey that uh, the non-feeders will not be very behind from the feeder. That's my
Mhm.
view, unless you guys have anything to say here. So in terms of draft, Pickford, I think is going to be the like you know uh, like most popular pick in terms of goalie. But if you have Michael as a non-feeder, I think you just roll the dice. Okay. And then Matty Cash will be very popular. Trent or Robertson will be here. Luca Dean or Cancelo here. We are talking, right? Because it depends like whether you want to double up Villa or attack, like double up attack Villa, right? So if you double up defense, then Cash or Dinia, or otherwise Cancelo. Then Salah, Son, Kane, Richarlison, Watkins slash Ings. I think those will be very much template-ish. Now, in terms of now after today's performance, Kane could be KDB or could be Verdi. We'll see. Gordon, I think he's kind of an enabler, and you also stick with him. He's going to be very highly owned as well. I think among the non-features. And Zaha versus Coutinho. I think that's going to be the debate. So I think that's gonna be kind of a template each. So do you think anything else into like
Yeah, I
different?
think as you said, basically at least nine of these players are probably going to be in every free hit. It's
Yeah.
basically that defensive spot, whether you want to double up on Aston Villa defense and the Kane spot, right? Especially after today, a lot of people are probably going to go to KDB. Some people may go to Vardy, as you said. Some people may even go to Mane, double up on Liverpool attack. The Southampton fixture looks juicy. So yeah, that. Those are the only two places I think. Gordon, as we spoke about, could be great. Like if someone has a little bit of extra money. But other than that, yeah, at least eight of these players are going to be like 100% template on free hit. Um, Maria, I think I was going to ask that anyways, but Nehal also raised that question. I'm going to give that question to Dan because we are of course a little biased because we are all playing the free hit in 37. So if you did have the free hit at this stage of the season, would you play it in 37 or would you consider playing it in 38?
I think it's the same answer you hear often. It's team dependent. Um,
Yeah.
for it depends on your team. I think free hit 37 has probably what has more doublers. It has more of an upside. I feel. But then if you 38, you might want to triple up on West Ham, not West Ham, sorry, Man City. Triple up on Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really good fixtures in 38. So
Yeah.
it really depends on how many of those single game week players you're going to have in 38
True.
and how
True.
many double players you don't have in 37 currently. It's really team dependent.
Absolutely.
I think going into 37 without the likes of Richarlison and Aston Villa defenders is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it would be less scary going into 38 without triple Spurs and triple City. So I
True.
lean towards 37, but again, it's team dependent.
Very much independent. 100%. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Wrangler or ZD, on the free hit? Other than that, we can move on.
I just want to
So
add.
do you
Sorry,
go ahead? Go ahead.
I'd be very tempted if I was on a free hit to do double Everton defense rather than double
Y-
Everton attack.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, do you consider double Everton defense?
It's an option. I think it's an option. Yes, Pickford and someone like a Mikolenko is definitely an option. I am considering Mikolenko over a Dean and kind of a Martinez over Pickford. I trust Aston Villa defense probably a little more than Everton defense. So if I want to double up on someone, just trust Aston Villa a little more
Mm-hmm.
than Everton. But it's not the worst thing to double up on Everton defense either. Especially Gordon is not a must to have on your free hit team, right? So if you want to go for a double up on defense and then just have Richarlison up front, not the worst shot.
I mean, would you consider double up Aston Villa and double up Everton defense as a potential differential?
Mm,
Then you can use your attacking players for Man City, Tottenham,
I could
Liverpool.
do that.
Not
It's
the
an
worst
option.
shot, especially if you're chasing. Why not? Yeah, I think it depends on your rank. If you want to protect your rank, it's very hard to think of a team without Trent or a
Exactly.
Robertson. At least have one of them.
Yeah.
But if you're chasing, if you have nothing to lose, yeah, absolutely, I don't see any reason why you would not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
I
talk about.
wanted to ask one more question, sorry,
Sure.
to Dan actually. So
Go ahead.
because after today's KDB performance, now if say Tottenham win tomorrow, now between Kane or KDB, who are you gonna choose? Because I think we can get only one of them.
Who would you choose on a free hit?
Yeah, Kane or
I,
KDB.
I would do KDB and Son if I was on a free hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would captain a double game week player because I always do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Richarlison is the standout captain this week. He's
Yeah.
going to troll us and get 4 points, but you have to take the risk
That's going to happen, right? Yeah, but we are all suckers for double gimmick, so
for sure.
yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's talk about captaincy quickly. And again, the big discussion here is whether we want to captain single game weaker over double game weaker, right? So ZD, you want to just take us through quickly what your thoughts are captaincy this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tricky this week again, right? Because it was this. I mean, Man City is not here, but the way they are playing, KDB should be in this list as well.
Mhm.
But apart from that, um, Liverpool uh, sh- boys should be favorite among the single game wicket. So Salah, his estate is there, although he's not like performing as we all expect. Um, and the opponent XGC is 2.21, like from game week 30 to 35. So uh, it's a little bit tough because for double game weeker, Richardson is having a very good run. Like his uh, XG is 0.59, and XA is like 0.08, and uh, so as Dan already mentioned, he should be the standard option for this
Mhm.
week, and I think probably Zaha is not going to be that popular, but his stats is good. Um, but Uh, as if you think of like as motivational purpose, I think Richardson or Son, Salah, they could be a popular option. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would probably like to add another name, especially if Watkins is injured. I think Danny Ings is a very good captaincy
Mhm.
shout as well. Um, I would probably not go there over Richarlison, but Ings could be a good shot, very decent shot, especially Crystal Palace and Burnley at home. Uh, but yeah, I think as we were all saying, right, we're just suckers for double gaming, so I would just go with the Richarlison, very very likely, unless something happens in the with his injury or anything like that. Uh, for the single game weekers though, so between say if you want to absolutely go for a single game weeker as a captain, would you rather go for a Salah versus Southampton or would you go for a Son versus Burnley?
With current form, it seems like Son versus Burnley, right?
What do you think, Wrangler?
But of course, Southampton away is a great game for Salah as well.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be depending on the league state at that time. Like, I mean, I don't know if West Ham and Man City game, like if Man City win against West Ham with a big margin, then I think I don't know. Liverpool is probably will not have any hope. And also fixture wise, like I don't know. I will go with Son.
Yeah, and it also why Salah was benched is not quite clear whether he has something in the background, whether he's an eagle or something that Klopp is kind of trying to protect him. And remember, they still have the big game to play for it, the UCL final. So that's kind of in the back of my mind. I would still probably have him on my free hit, but definitely I don't think he's a clear-cut captaincy option for 37. If you absolutely want to go for a single game maker, I think Son is the standout shot. Anything, Dan, that you want to add on
No, I,
captaincy?
I agree. I think these three are the main three choices, and I think you have it in order. I
Yep.
think I would go Richarlison first purely because we're suckers for double game weeks.
Hmm.
But I think if you were picking a single game week player, has to be Son at home. The form he's in, he's at home, fighting for the golden boot.
Yep.
It makes sense to be him.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So let's move on to our teams. So this will be the last section of our video. So we'll be talking about our teams. Dan, you want to first take us through your team?
Sure. So this is my best team. Has a few issues. I think Ramsey is a bit of an issue on my team. I was planning on just holding him and playing him this week, but then he
Mhm.
he got injured, and he's also not been performing very well. Well, he's been playing deeper, let's say. Hasn't
Mhm.
looked as dangerous as he was earlier in the season. So, and then Robertson got his rest. So I think playing Robertson over Ramsey is the first thing I'll do. And then I really want to bring in some more double game week players. But I have that issue that we talked about earlier is if I bring in Aston Villa, if I bring in Everton, because I don't have a free hit, they're going to be in my team for 38, which is not ideal. So I'm leaning towards either rolling or doing Dubravka to Pickford, which means my team would be Pickford, Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, James, Saka, Salah, Gordon, Coutinho, Richarlison captain, and Kane. I'm very tempted, though, to do Ramsey and Ramsdale to Zaha and Pickford for a -4. Um, the Robbo option is on there because just in case he was injured, but then I think
Yeah.
Klopp said he was rested, so there's
Mhm.
no way I'm taking Robbo out. So for me, it's either the Bravka to Pickford or Ramsey and Ramsdale to Zaha and Pickford for a -4. I
Yep.
mean, I'm not sure I'm comfortable doing a -4, especially after the terrible week I've had. But I have nothing to play for anymore. I might just go for it, just for the
So if
sake
you
of it.
if you do take Zaha in, you bench Robertson, right?
And see, that's the problem. I would have to
Yeah.
bench. I would have to bench either Robertson or Cancelo or Trent or
Yeah.
Cancelo or Saka. Even
Hmm.
I would be tempted to bench Saka
Yeah.
actually.
Probably. Yeah.
So
Hmm. Yeah. I see your dilemma. Yeah. Definitely a goalkeeper transfer. That's definitely happening. You're just kind of contemplating whether you want to take the minus hit or
Exactly.
not.
I think I would just do a goalkeeper transfer. I think it gives me a better team in 38. I don't think I need to take a -4. I don't know. I think I see Nihao says, why not Ramsdale to Pickford? Because I trust having. I don't trust Newcastle against Burnley. I just away from home.
Hmm.
Last game of the season, I think Burnley score.
Hmm.
It's as simple as that for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if you, I mean, if that fund, if you cannot use any elsewhere, so why don't you remove Ramsdale? Just remove Dubravka. But if removing Ramsdale give you some fund where you can use elsewhere, then probably it makes sense. Probably, right?
Exactly. But then I was looking at my team in 38, and I would probably just do something like Coutinho to Kulusevski, something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Your
So I
team
don't
is
need the funds.
well set. Yeah, for
It'll be a
38.
downgrade, not an upgrade. Most likely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
38, I would just do Coutinho to Kulusevski and just go without Son and just hope for the best.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Cannot disagree there.
that's my team. So I would have Richarlison, Gordon, Coutinho, and Pickford as my double game week players.
Yeah. I think.
Possibly
Yeah.
possibly Ramsey.
Yeah. You are already covering most of the free hit options, barring maybe the Aston Villa defense, right? That's the only thing that's
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
possible. So you are well set. I think. Yeah. I would not take the hit. I think. This-
Would you guys bench Ramsey if you didn't take him out over Saka?
Tough
I mean,
question.
it is tough because Saka's
Yeah. I
obviously
think.
a much better player. He's
Yeah.
probably more likely to score and things like that. And Ramsey is
Yeah.
not quite fit.
ZD, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think probably I would back Saka because Rams, as you said, Rams is playing deep and
Deep.
he's has slight injury concern. So overall, feel like rather than having one pointer, taking
Mhm.
chance on Saka, who's the talisman of Arsenal, right? So it's my thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. All right. Best of luck then with your team. Next is mine. So my free hit has been active for last few days. Pretty template, as I said before. Also, I am kind of tempted to go for Martinez and Mikolenko over Pickford and Dean. Um, Most likely, I'll do that. Just kind of being a little different. I don't think that's going to be hugely different from unless there is some mad swing or something like that. Dinia scores a brace or something. Other than that, I don't think it's going to matter that much, anyways. But I'm willing to take that chance. Elsewhere, I'm very, very tempted to go for a Vardy. So I already asked Sam Martin on FPL Twitter whether he thinks that he will start, and he thinks that he might get some news ahead of deadline, and he'll let us know once he does. But if I hear that Vardy starts the Watford game, even if he gets like 20, 30 minutes against Chelsea, I think that Watford game in itself is a very good game to target. And Kane is a single game weeker anyways this game week. So I don't mind. Even if Vardy just gets the Watford game, I think I'm very, very tempted to go for a Vardy over a Kane or even a KDB, right? I mean, KDB like did really well this game week, but that's not going to swing my decision in getting KDB in versus West Ham. I don't think that's a fixture necessarily to target, anyways, right? So I'm not. Even if I don't get Vardy, I think I'm going to go for Kane over KDB. I like the Burnley fixture more than the West Ham fixture. But yeah, that's my team: Martinez, Cash, Mikolenko, Trent, Zaha, Gordon, Salah, Son, Richarlison captain, Watkins, and Vardy. Right now, it can change, of course, by deadline. That's the free hit right now. Any thoughts?
Would you change Watkins to Ings if Watkins
Yeah,
is a doubt?
definitely, definitely, yes,
Yeah.
100%, yes.
I mean, the other thing about Vardy is he tends to be a big game player, doesn't he?
Mhm.
So even
Yeah,
if he
he's
doesn't only play the
yeah,
Chelsea game, there's no reason why he can't score against them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He just sounds like a fun punt
Yeah,
on
why
the
not?
free hit. Yeah, why not?
And Chelsea is, I think, conceding in home recently, like from last six
Yeah,
game weeks as well.
yeah. Chelsea's defense is not in the best shape, so I would not bet against Vardy in against scoring against Chelsea. So yeah, if but I still want that confirmation that he starts the Watford game. I like that. I would like that to happen. So we'll wait until the last moment. If that happens, that does not, most likely would go for a Kane over Vardy. All right, let's go to Wrangler, your team.
Yeah, so my team, well, right now it's I put in this way, but um, like I have Pickford. I'm gonna actually pick Pickford. That's for sure. And I have Lukadin, Cash, and Trent here, but in my current bus team, actually, it's different. So I might go with Lukadin, Trent, and Cancelo.
Mhm.
I might go with that. It depends on the Watkins news. If Watkins is out, I will probably go with Coutinho. I actually fancy more Coutinho uh,
Mhm.
than Zaha, by the way. I mean, I actually like more Coutinho because it's a two home fixture. He has been good in home too. So if Watkins is out, it's secured minutes for him. So I'll probably go with Coutinho. So in that case, Zaha will not be there. And Salah, Son, Richarlison, Watkins. I will go with Kane actually. I will probably not go with. I mean, although my team right now have KDB because I already own him and I'm holding him in case he has a like point 0.2 price raise so that I can get gain point 0.1 that I
Yes,
was
which
hoping.
is a possibility after today, which is a possibility. Maybe by deadline, he already increased today. He might
Yeah,
get another rise by
right. So
deadline.
that was my expectation. That's why actually I'm holding in
Mhm.
my team, but eventually
Same
I'll
here. Yeah.
go with Kane. Okay, so that's my thought right now. And captaincy Richarlison, like as you guys also
Mhm.
talked. So that's what I'm right now. My team value is not the best, so yeah, Gordon I have to definitely play. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like the Coutinho shout. If Watkins is out injured, I don't mind the Coutinho shout. Very, very good shout.
I never had good relationship with Zaha before, so I really like Vardy and Zaha. Those are the two players I always had very very bad relationships. So that's why this season I never owned Vardy. Never, although he has been good in some times, but I never
Mhm.
owned because some
So
players.
if you do get Coutinho in, do you play 3-4-3-5-2 or
No, 3-4-3. Then Zaha will not be there in my team.
no? But who is going to be your Watkins replacement? You need.
Cancelo.
Oh,
So
so you
actually
play
Watkins.
four.
Watkins will be Yings at that time.
Oh, so you'll have Ings and you cannot have Ings and Coutinho with the two Aston Villa defenders,
Uh,
right?
I, I think
Because
he
I
will
have
have
Zaha anyway.
Cancelo in place of Digne.
Oh, you'll
He will
have
not go
Cancelo.
with double digits. Yeah.
Okay, you'll have Cancelo, you'll have
Cash.
Coutinho, and you'll have Ings.
Yeah.
So three changes. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. All right. Okay, so let's move on to ZD's team. You are also preheating.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking of having some differential. So my one is a little bit different, but it might change actually.
Mhm.
Uh, like I will change Sterling because
Such a troll.
He got
yeah,
28 points this week.
yeah, he had 28 points, and I would keep Son. I think I will not play Gordon. I am actually attempting to have double Everton defense.
Mhm.
I kept Robertson for now. Uh, I need to little bit. I need to think a little bit over there. So I already kept Ings actually, like from the beginning. But captain could be Richardson, could be Ings, but mostly I will go with Richardson. As I said, they
Mhm.
have like. Incentive to play. That's why, and also it's a little bit rotation prone. So uh, it won't be that much different from the template, but I would take obviously some risk for the differential. I'm not going to have Salah probably. So let's see. Yeah, I'll decide it actually after uh, FA Cup final.
Yeah, I
Is there
think
a, is there a
Jota
reason
can
you?
be a good shout. If Jota doesn't start
Yeah,
in the final, he can be a very good shout. So,
yeah. Luis Diaz could be Jota.
yeah. All righty.
What's the
So,
reason you've chose Tyrone Mings? Just out of curiosity. Do you have a feeling he'll get a header against those guys?
It's that is one thing. Another thing is obviously Dini and Cash is going to be popular, right? So I just want to play a little bit differential over
Why
there.
not? Yeah, why
mhm.
not?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yes,
absolutely.
I'm
And
not sure about Sterling.
no,
Since
I'm not going
since he
there
played there,
actually.
I mean, West
If
Ham
it
are
is
West. Sorry.
West Ham away, yeah, it is
Yeah.
going to be difficult. So not Sterling. If it is not KDB, I don't think I'm not going to own anyone from Man City.
I think.
I mean, it feels risky, but you have to take it, right?
West Ham away
Without
has
Man
got
City was
Mahrez written all over it. I'm not saying put him in, but what Mahrez is going to turn up against West
Mahrez,
Ham.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
very
don't put
Did
him in.
possible.
Mahrez came? Did Mahrez came out today? Like for one pointer?
No, yeah, very very late
Yeah, I
for
think he
five
Really?
few
joined
minutes.
this.
Yeah,
He
then
did.
West Ham game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he showed up.
Yeah.
alrighty. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go for any Man City player, it has to be KDB, I think, at this point
Yeah.
of time with everyone,
Of course,
all
yeah.
the chance of rotation. And he still is a pretty good differential. It still is. So even on a free hit, he can be a good shout.
Yep.
Yogesh
Yeah, I
was
actually
talking
like
about
that.
Madison.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
yeah, Yogesh was talking about Madison being a better option than Vardy. But definitely, again, if we do get some news ahead of the deadline that Madison starts the Watford game, whoever starts that Watford game for Leicester, I think is a definitely good shout out of Madison, Vardy, or even Iheanacho, something like that. I would not mind that necessarily, Like I really like that Watford matchup. So I don't know whether he starts both, uh, but yeah, I would still like that one fixture. Why not? Go ahead, Renter. You were saying something.
Yeah, so there, like, if you see, like, I think Frazier have tweeted very recently, kind of like same thought as ZD, that if like Luis Diaz and Mane and Salah starts in the FA Cup final, then Jota is a good shout. And if you ping Jota, then you can have both, or like both, like you can have all Son, KDB, and Kane, right?
Hmm.
And also covered Liverpool as well, so which is good. So that's another route to go as well, where you covered the Liverpool boys as well as you can cover these three prime,
Yeah,
forwards that we talk. I like that. I might go in that route too. We'll see how it goes. So
yeah, definitely. The Liverpool FA Cup squad will be interesting to see who starts. That will at least influence our decision to some extent. Um, all right, I think we are done here. Anyone else have any ending remarks before we end? If
yeah, I believe
not,
we covered all of the questions already.
yeah,
I
I think we did.
guess so.
Yeah, I don't think we had anything left there. But yeah, I mean, Dan, absolutely. Thanks to you that you agreed to join us. We really had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It
Thank
was
you
very
for inviting.
exciting for us. Hopefully, you enjoyed too.
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on. And for anyone watching, please subscribe to these guys because they create amazing content. Follow them on Twitter. And super nice people, really good content, and you won't regret it, I promise.
Thanks for all your support, Dan.
Yeah, always. This was
All
fun.
righty.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to do this more often. Absolutely.
And I want to see some other FPL USA people on here, maybe
Oh yeah,
Patrick,
yeah, yeah.
Theorist.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks all the people, mostly FPL USA people that joined here, of course, all with all your questions and comments. Thanks for all of that. All righty.
Yeah.
So, anything else,
Thank
Zidi
you,
and
Dan.
Wrangler?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
No, I was just going to thank you.
Mhm. All right. So let's finish here. Thanks everyone for joining. Best of luck for game week 37 and rest of the season. We'll see you before game week 38 again. But until that, best of luck. And the deadline is again on Sunday, so remember that. Other than that, thank you and good night and goodbye, everyone. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.